Hello, welcome to Access. I'm Rob. Joining us is Holly.
Hey everyone.
Holly, you have been to play Final Fantasy XIV, the new Stormblood expansion, and you have come back, as you always do, with loads of notes and loads of things to tell us. Specifically, you're going to go through 7 updates that both old and new players can enjoy.
Yeah, now it's not everything that's coming with Stormblood. I mean, there's so much coming. These are just the 7 sort of biggest points I wanted to pull out. Because everyone, there's increased inventory space and your chocobos can run faster. But 7 things that I think are just really, really cool.
And this first thing is new cities and places to explore, which I guess is a given with a new expansion.
Yeah, and we actually got to explore some of them, like not all of them. This is Koganei, which is the new city state. So this is where all your crafters are, your market boards.
Look at the design of it. It looks really oriental. It looks incredible. I mean, Final Fantasy XIV always does, but this again, brilliant.
Oh, it's so pretty. I really, really spoiled with the design. They've really gone all out. I mean, Ishgard was so dark and so gloomy in comparison. This just feels so alive and so bright. I did have to wait a couple of in-game days for it to stop raining so I could get this beautiful sunny capture. But we did get to explore quite a lot of it. I do have a whole video. It took me I think the best part of 15 to 18 minutes to walk around this city at this pace. There's me bringing the map up. I'm just in where all the shoppers are. It's so... I was really impressed. I know.
40,000 hit points, man.
Now this here is the Shifu of the Violet Tides. I'm really sorry if I've said that wrong. This is actually inside the dungeon. That's how pretty the dungeons are. And here I am on my magical flying Leopleurodon.
Wow.
Just having a great old time with my Leopleurodon buddy.
Man. I mean, I played what I thought was loads of Final Fantasy XIV. My best mount was like an Ahriman, a rubbish floating eye, basically.
Oh, bless
but
you,
we're
Rob.
on to the second point already, Holly. We're going to be whizzing through these. You can swim in Final Fantasy XIV now.
We can swim. Right, we've just started in Tamamizu. Again, I'm so sorry if I've said that wrong. Which is one of the underwater cities. And you can literally just run out. You get a quick diving animation. And then you're just in the sea.
Oh,
you're
my
just
God.
swimming. I know it sounds so daft.
Underwater places. Wow.
It's so pretty as well. You can swim in and out of underwater settlements as you want. There are some new emotes as well to sort of go with that. I'm even going to do one for you now. I actually have a really nice screenshot of this from another character I made that I will tweet out later because it's just I was blown away.
The water float emote. Oh, that's nice. Holly, I assume that you can only swim in places that are from the Stormblood expansion. Can you swim in the main Final Fantasy XIV game? Is that in there as well?
I tried to take my chocobo and run to Costa del Sol, and I got told off because they were like, "It's a test server. What are you doing?" So I wasn't allowed to test it. But like this, just being able to jump off of something straight into the water, and then I'm just sort of there. And you can even just running out of the water, swimming to a new place and running out. And now I'm underwater.
Wow. This is like a whole new world. I mean, Final Fantasy XIV is ludicrously big anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
The freedom and the size of it is, wow, it's amazing. Okay, we're on to point number 3, which is PS4 Pro support. What can you tell us about that?
So, if you're not following Final Fantasy XIV, you probably didn't know, but they're actually going to be cutting the support for PlayStation 3 with this update. So at the moment, Final Fantasy XIV is on PS3, PS4, and PC, and all 3 of us play together. In fact, your PS4 is even mouse and keyboard compatible if that's how you want to play, if not, DualShock. But all of us play together. PS3 support is being cancelled with the update of Stormblood. But PS4 Pro users will be getting some new modes, which will be something that only they will have. The first mode will keep the current resolution settings, but will give you a higher frame rate, if that's your jam. While the second mode will allow, I believe, you to go all the way up to a 4K resolution, but will keep the current frame rate.
I see. So you get to choose whether you want a beefed up frame rate or beefed up resolution.
Yeah, basically. But either way, Yoshi P was very, very strong on saying that even if you're just on PS4, it's totally fine and it's going to be a great experience regardless. And if you are on PS3 and you are upgrading, there is a free upgrade program from PS3 to PS4 running until December this year. So,
I mean, I remember when I first transferred my account from PS3 to PS4, it was free back then, and now it's free again. That's a cool upgrade system.
Yeah, and you know, it's nice as well for us to have the option, but even better, it's just everyone plays together. So if you've got friends who are playing on different platforms, I love the fact that as RFC, it just doesn't matter. Everyone's in it together, and I play on DualShock, but I have a mouse and keyboard plugged into my PS4 just in case I want to type or just in case I'm feeling lazy. But I'm finding it hard
to pay attention to you, Holly, because it looks so beautiful. Oh my God. Point number 5 are we on now? PvP updates. What's this?
So I should probably say this is not our footage. We weren't actually able to go into PvP when we did the Stormblood event in Germany. So we have stolen the footage from the live stream, but it does sort of give us something to talk about. So if you haven't already tried it, PvP is already in Final Fantasy XIV. And it's always a nice break for those who maybe have done their end game, they've done the raiding, and they want a new challenge. At the moment, Yoshi P feels the level restrictions are too high, there's too many actions, it's really complex, you know, old players are scaring the new players, so it's going to go through some changes.
Yeah.
So the level restriction is being removed, so anyone over job level 30 can come in and try PvP.
Okay, that's cool.
You can even play it on the free trial, because the free trial is available. And now your gear only affects your appearance. No matter you have uniform stats and attributes for your role, regardless.
So we're leveling the playing field for PvP a bit here.
Exactly. Now it's really going to be about skill. You'll have a different hotbar for PvP and PvE. So when you come into the PvP arena, your hotbar will look different because your moves will be different. And really, it's just going to be more accessible. Now, I did ask when there was going to be new maps, because if you're going to make all these changes, there has to be something new to play, right?
Yeah.
He said 4.0 will be focused on PvE, but 4.1 will see a new map, not Feast or Frontline, a new type of PvP. They just can't make it in time for 4.05.
Okay, so the next point, Holly, we've got some changes to the battle system. Now, I notice you're selecting some abilities for your Dark Knight here. This looks slightly different to what I remember it looking. Can you explain what's going on here, please?
Yeah, so Yoshi P felt everything was overly complex, there were too many actions, and there was like a lack of synergy between jobs. He felt, for example, that warriors and ninjas got on really well, so the poor monks were left out, and he wants to change that with Stormblood. So the first thing... Poor monk. No, there was a horrible like delete monk hashtag that was started.
Really?
I know, it's made a couple of monks in my FC very sad. First of all, we're abolishing the additional actions, or the cross class.
Right.
So, for example, Provoke is something you get from leveling up Gladiator, and it's a really important tank move. It allows you to tank swap. You have to have it if you want to go towards the end game.
Yeah, I remember getting Provoke, and that being pretty handy in dungeons.
That's because you were a paladin, Rob. You were
I was a paladin.
The ultimate knight.
I had like cross-class actions, like I could use Cure and Protect as well. So am I still going to be able to have those as a tank?
No, that's why this is changing slightly. Tanks will be given actions that they can pick from. So for me, I didn't level up Gladiator that far, or as far as I needed to, because I was actually a warrior when I started, and I didn't need to level up Gladiator as high as you did. So I had to go back and level up Gladiator to get my Provoke. Right. And he wants to stop that happening. So you can now have like a selection to pick from, which will just sort of help. On top of that, certain spells will auto-replace. So for example, Stone, instead of having 4 stones, Stone 1 will just become Stone 2, which will become 3, which will become 4. Just to keep things less cluttered.
Right.
And then on top of that, now if you look at the screen now, I'm currently in one of the dungeons fighting one of the bosses. Now next to my TP bar on the bottom sort of right is a gauge. Yeah. Now this is the job gauge system. I'm playing as a Dark Knight, so this for me is called the blood gauge. They look different for everybody. Mine changes colour if I'm in grit, which is my tank stance, and it displays the amount of black blood I've accumulated, and I can gather this in several different ways, such as using certain skills. I can then use that black blood to execute actions such as Delirium or Blood Spiller, which is a new move you get at level 68. And there are certain moves as well that pull that up. They're beautiful. Everyone's is slightly different. The Samurai's is like a beautiful katana, but ours just looks really aggressive. It
sounds badass. It sounds really badass. So these are black blood moves. They're unique to each class.
Yes. So when I was looking at sort of the job skills, when I went past level 60, which is where you got to in Heavensward, that was the level cap. The moves after that did have an effect on my job gauge, on the blood gauge. Either they gave me black blood or they consumed black blood. Right. And depending on like what tank stance, if I was in or out of my tank stance, for example, that all changed like how much damage I was dealing. I asked Yoshi P whether the disparity between classes was going to be sort of brought in. Because, for example, we know now if you want to do damage as a tank, you pick Warrior. You don't play Dark Knight, you certainly don't play Paladin, you play Warrior. And he's trying to stop that. But instead of nerfing the Warrior, he is giving other classes moves that should bring them up. And one of mine was like that. You know, if I was in Grit, for example, and I was in Darkside, it did a lot more damage.
Cool. So it's basically cutting out the faff of having to do ridiculous amounts of grinding just so you can get to your class. Okay, we're on to the next point, Holly. What's going on here? Boost items. What are these?
Talking about a ridiculous amount of grinding, Rob, that was a really good segue, actually. There are 2 new types of items coming with Stormblood. These are main scenario boosts and job level boosts. The main scenario boosts are either Tales of Adventure, A Realm Reborn, or Tales of Adventure, Heavensward. These, if you use them, you buy them off the Mog Station, they do cost money, will take you to the very, very end of that expansion pack. So, for example, if you pop Tales of Adventure, Realm Reborn, you will complete all main scenario quests up to patch 255, which was the one before Heavensward. Okay. And that's basically approximately £13.
So people can, if they want to jump straight into Stormblood, they can do.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to do Tales of Adventure Heavensward, it is all the main scenario quests of Realm Reborn and Heavensward, which is patch 3.56, and that's £18, and it will give you a chocobo. You'll automatically join the Grand Company of your home state. You'll complete all main scenarios, including some of the dungeons, complete selected side quests, and then you can go back and watch all the cutscenes via the unending journey if you actually want to sort of know what you've missed. But it means that if me and you wanted to play together, and because you haven't finished Heavensward, you could pick up the Tales of Adventure. You'd be level 60.
Heavensward, Holly. I've not even started Heavensward.
Well, then this is perfect. This is exactly what this is for, because it will bring you all the way up to where I am in the story, and then we can just go and enjoy Stormblood together.
I've got to admit, every time I see Final Fantasy XIV, it makes me sad that I kind of stopped my adventure, and every time I see it, I want to jump straight back in.
You should.
Man, it looks great.
Now, there's also job level boost. This raises the level of a single job to level 60. So, level 60 is the cap for Heavensward. Stormblood is raising that to 17. These are £18.50 per item. They're bought off the Mog Station. Can't use them on Red Mage, and you can't use them on Samurai. Only 1 per account.
Okay, and talking of classes, Holly, we've got some new classes that you're going to be showing off here. Look at this. Very nice.
This is me just... This is one of my favourite things to do, is turn the HUD off and just take pretty pictures. But here is Samurai. This is a melee DPS class, of which I am absolutely abominable at. So this capture is very nicely done by a member of my free company who happened to be on the press trip with me. It's all about dealing damage and looking cool.
You can't do DPS, Holly. You got to do tank. Is that how it is?
Yes. Yeah, I listen to my DPS friends when we're in chat, when we're raiding, and I think I've learned a particular language to play 14, but the DPS guys blow me away. I love tanking.
I mean, tanking is pretty straightforward, really, isn't it? You run in, you let other people worry about your health, and you just smack stuff.
I think that's the basic guide to tanking, which is run in, take the aggro, keep the aggro, and don't be an ass to the white mage, because they will just let you die. So you can see that I've done that here. Like, I've gone in, I've taken the aggro, and now the samurai is just dealing the damage. He's doing what he does best with a dragoon of all classes. Now this one, the red mage. I think the design on this, isn't the design on this, like, it feels new, but it has that classic Final Fantasy red mage.
It really does. The hat, especially, is really giving me, Final Fantasy 1 red mage vibes.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it pretty? I think this is gorgeous, and you can see his job gauge just there on the left-hand side of the screen. They're all different. Now, red mage is technically a ranged DPS. It's a mix of white, black, and red magic.
Yeah.
But they can move around the field really quickly. So they can go in, like you've just seen, and do some melee. They can then come back out. But I think this one is classed as a ranged DPS, just so it's a bit different. For anyone who is watching this and doesn't play DPS like me, I did chat to Yoshi P about the idea of, oh my god, like, the duty finder is going to be horrible because everyone's going to want to be a DPS and there's not going to be enough tanks or healers. And he said that he felt pretty confident that if you were a tank, you like to tank. And if you're a white mage, you like to white mage. And he feels like, on the whole, us tanks and healers probably won't switch.
No.
And he feels that it'll be alright in a duty finder and you won't be queuing for hours.
I've never understood people who play as healers. I mean, how boring. Basically, your job is just to keep everyone else alive. Well, there we go, Holly. There's 7 new updates for both old and new players to get excited about. I mean, it certainly worked, Holly. You've made me want to jump straight back into Stormblood.
Come back, Rob. Join my FC.
I really want to. But yeah, let us know what you think of the game in the comments, guys. Let us know whether you're a tank, a DPS, or a healer. Who's a healer, honestly?
Wow.
And please do subscribe because hopefully we'll have some more Final Fantasy 14 for you coming up very soon.